Hi guys, Amar here, and today I'm gonna talk a bit about our level spawner. Everything is perfect, like everything works. We're spawning the circles, we're getting the random models, we're rotating them, everything seems fine. That is when it's level a bit lower. If you go to 50 level, let's say even 51, doesn't really matter. If I play the game, you can see it's going to be very easy to play. Why? Because we're always going to have this one opening which will be free, and all I have to do is wait for the full circle and then wait, and then just click again like brainlessly, and then again wait. I can do this like on a timer. I can just add a timer and do it, and then makes a game pretty boring, like, and too much, and it's like repetitive, like too much repetitive. Even when it becomes an easier, if it's 50, it's like a lot easier than you think. Now there is two fixes that I know that are top of my head, which you can do it. For example, we have the circle 1 obstacle, which will have the enemy or plane over here. But when you go to the circle 2, it's just on the other side. What would I do is actually have this being here and this being here, for example, like this. So something like this, and this, I'm not going to do it perfect because it's not necessary. I did not test this method out, but you can try it out. Logically it should do it, because when you're spawning this one, you're going to spawn this one on the opposite side, and the same goes for the circle 3. So for example, let me just go and do it like this. So if you go to the circle 3, or actually 2, okay, it's 3, my bad, you're not going to leave. You're going to have to leave 1, and I will not do this one. I will actually do this one, I think. I'm not sure. You will have to test that out on your own, but I found another way, which is throughout code, which is, in my opinion, a lot easier to have. So open up our level spawner, and what are we going to do? So this here, we have like temp1.transform.euler-angles, which will actually rotate our obstacles by bit and bit. What do we want is, at certain points, we want to rotate the whole obstacle by 180 degrees. So you're always gonna happen to be at the position where you cannot just brainlessly click and then pass the whole level. So to do that, we're gonna check if our matf, so matf dot abc, which stands for absolute, and then we're checking for the I, because by default our I is negative. If it's greater or equals to level, and then we're going to multiply that by 0.3f, not 0.5 but 0.3f. Why 0.3? Well, if you go to calculator, that will be like the third part of the 50. So multiply by 0.3, we're going to get at 50. Then at 50, and if it's less than matf, so again matf dot abc, then I. If it's less than level, less or equals to level, then we're going to multiply that by, let's say, 0.6f. If that is true, then we're gonna, of course, rotate them like by default, but we're gonna add a temp1.transform.euler-angles plus equals to vector 3, my bad, dot up, multiply that by 180, and then add the semicolon. Like, you will see the immediate change at one point, which will happen like at the beginning. So right here, for example, see these are going all well, and then bam, you have the thing which will stop you. So if I go and by luck, or actually no, I'm not there yet, or am I? I think by luck I went to it. It will not be always there, but you can see that at one point, and I'm trying to find it. Let me try to find any other obstacle. It will be easier to scan. Why it's always circled? Okay, here. As you can see, I think it's right here. Let me check it. So here we have like 15, and then by immediately 120. Like this. This is too much. This is not multiplied by 180. You can see here, it's like 444, and then here it's like too much. So this is where the break happens. And if I go to it, you can see I will have to stop of this. Now, of course, it's going to have some spacing through, but as the level goes and the things progress, you will actually have to stop. Now, the other thing we want to do is to actually increase this happening. So we're not gonna always have it on the one side, we're gonna actually have it on the multiply side. So we're gonna check else if, and then we're checking if our math level is greater than, let's say, 0.8, then we're gonna say the exact same thing is here. So exact same things here. Now one thing I added is actually to have here an integer, actually a float, random, like this. And then here we're not always gonna have it, but we're gonna check if random, and then it's gonna be high chance of happening. So if random, actually it's not like this, it's not like this, or actually this, but it's random equals to random. This random is not necessary, that's what I think. You're just gonna add random dot value if it's greater than dot 75f. If that is true, then we are gonna do it. Other than that, we are not. So this is the one thing like you can add, but the problem with this is always gonna have another random value. So before you do that, you will add here float random, which will be equal to random dot value, and here just add random. And like this, you will solve the whole problem. But as I said, I will recommend to have like a high chance of that happening. And then if I go back and click play, we should see that we're having break here and then break over here. So if I go, try to beat it, I have this break that I have to wait for, then here again, and then bam, and then again a break, and then continue to play the whole level throughout, and again break. So this is the whole thing I want to talk about. You can try to find some other ways to do it. Maybe use a module. A module is really helpful, like after every 15, you're gonna rotate another like 10 other obstacles depending on the level. Like I choose this like multiply 0.3 because it's depending on the level. So if we are at 50 or if we are at 100, it's always gonna work. So as I said, like at 15 level, for example, this will not have much of a cause. Like there is like some breakups, but I think at this point, like it's not really necessary, but you can add those if you want. I mean, I added them and I left them, but it's like at level 1, you're not gonna notice this like at all. So if I press play and try level 1, you're not gonna notice this. I mean, maybe it's not even happening, but if it's even happening, you're having these zeros which are actually empty. And even if you rotate them at 100, nothing is going to happen. So yeah, that is the whole thing I want to talk about our level spawner and the algorithms about it. And I will see you guys in the next one.